guys. My name is Karen Carell. I am a member of the Rutland Region Workforce Investment Board, and I sit as vice chair on the board. The WIB, which we affectionately call it, is a group of people from businesses, communities, even organizations, educational institutions, and we're interested in making sure that the Rutland region has the best trained, most skilled workers in Vermont. Local employers we work very closely with let us know the type of skill sets that they're looking for and they struggle to sometimes find. So right here at home, so we're trying to help them also be able to fill their needs. There's a lot of great jobs here. So we want you to keep that in mind as you go through these workshops today. We're very proud and excited to create this opportunity for you. It's an amazing group of people that have come together to make this happen. And there are so many different career fields. You're going to be able to talk to people in those fields. And today you have a great chance to ask questions. So please do. These guys are experts. Try to stump them. One of the things that I do want to also ask that you do is make sure before you leave today that you complete your survey and get it to your counselor, because we really want that information. It's very important for us to be able to continue to grow from here. So I'd like to introduce you to these two lovely people. We have Megan Hanna from Brock Community Action and Nick DeLaurie from the Vermont Butcher Shop. And before we start there, I want you to go ahead and get a chance to...
I love Rutland County because it gives me the option to live and work in a place where I can do all the things that I love. These activities that I used to do maybe once a year, these are all things that are 5 minutes from each other.
Okay, anybody in this group from Rutland? Excellent. Oh, you've got to look more thrilled than that. Rutland is good. It is. Once you branch out into the world, you're going to kind of see that. How do we get rid of this side? Can we?
We'll just go to long, play from beginning.
Play from beginning. Okay. Let's see. That's what we're looking for. So Nick and I are here today to talk to you about the culinary arts field. I do work for Brock Community Action. I'm the food shelf coordinator for Bennington and Rutland County, but I have my background is in culinary arts, and that has translated to this current career that I am in today. Nick and I, we actually have very similar backgrounds. We both went to culinary schools and have worked in many restaurants. Nick, a little bit about yourself, maybe?
Sure. So I graduated from Rutland. I also graduated from Stafford, as it says up there. So I went to CIA, the Culinary Institute of America. Then worked in restaurants for a while, and now, I'm one of the partners and director of operations for the Vermont Butcher Shop. So my culinary career kind of took a little detour when I got this opportunity, and that's what I'm at.
And that's the exciting part about this field, is that you'll start in one place and you really have the opportunity to grow in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You can't go wrong with hospitality. It's used in everyday life, other than the culinary, it's called the hospitality industry, because we are hospitable people. We welcome people, we feed people, we put them in hotels, we serve them wonderful cuts of meat. So all show forms of caring. So what we've done today is we've actually put together a series of video clips. So you're going to see several little tiny video clips, because this classroom does not give you a good sense of what it's like to be in the hospitality or restaurant business. So you're going to see a few things here today, and hopefully this is going to all play nicely. What do you think you might need to be able to do if you're going to work in a kitchen? Nothing? Right. We'll see if we can't have some answers by the end. Okay. So these are some, and this is right from the website that the WIB put together, and the links. I don't know if anybody took the time to browse those, but these are some of the things that it takes to be a good cook. Did you want to go over a few of those?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
All right. So let's, start at the top, right? Personality. So, dependability. So dependability, attention to detail, adaptability, all this stuff. Stress tolerance is a huge thing. Integrity and initiative. So just to like touch, dependability is huge. Typically in restaurants, you are one of very small core group of people, right? So you being there on time, you being there every day when you're supposed to be is like vital to success for both you and the restaurant you're working at. So I can't stress that enough. I mean, there's probably, especially in Vermont where you're working in much smaller kitchens, you might be one of 3 people in the kitchen, one of 2 maybe. So it's, your dependability is top notch. Attention to detail goes a long way to, you know, a lot of times, you know, the chef that you're working for, he's giving you pretty precise instructions. So your ability to follow those instructions essentially to his letter is huge. That becomes not only through the act of cooking, but also like plating, cleaning, all of that kind of stuff. It encompasses everything you would do within the restaurant industry. Stress tolerance. The kitchen in general is probably one of the most stressful environments you will ever work in. More so than the guys over next door here, the cops and the lawyers, right? So it is high stress. As the video pointed out, you're mostly always working from behind. From the minute you get there, you're behind. So you're working as fast as you can, as hard as you can, for 9, 10, 12, 13, 15, 16 hours a day. And that adds up. It adds to the stress tolerance. And then you get into service, which is towards the end of your day. So you know, the orders are piling up and you have to put them out in so many minutes. You know, typically appetizers are from the time of order is 7 minutes. From the time of fire for an entree is 10 max. So you have 7 minutes to cook their apps and 10 minutes to cook their entrees. And that's typically based on good mise en place. Mise en place just means in the industry to have everything in its place. So having everything right where you need it, when you need it, and it goes back to the video, having everything organized and in control. You're not sloppy in your station, stuff like that. So get attention to detail. Integrity is huge because you know, whether it's me or another chef or something, we're entrusting you to hold our standards. You know, leadership is empowering others to do or to make the decisions that you would, right? And your integrity plays an integral part of that. You know, if I can't trust you or your integrity to do what I need you to do, or to say, for instance, not serve something off the floor, I can't trust you to cook. So your integrity is very important. Initiative, taking the initiative in the restaurant is huge to move up the ladder. But what I would say is you have to feel that person out. Feel the person, the chef you're out, that you're working with. Taking the initiative to clean or to do something is great in its own regard, and each chef has their standard of where that tolerance level will be. You know, I was a very lenient guy and I wanted everyone to take the initiative, but I've worked for chefs that literally said, you follow my exact instruction to the T, and you do not vary and you do not do anything without me saying so. It's just kind of how it is. It's kind of an old school mentality that's kind of, I think, phasing out hopefully.
Yeah.
But it definitely is still around. So yeah.
One captain to the ship. It's definitely a very,
Yeah.
I thought on this, some of the knowledge things, which are good, customer service management, all of that kind of thing. The higher maths, calculus, statistics, yes, because that's gonna come in handy for knowing what you're serving and what you're doing and that kind of thing, but the math is not as involved. As they're saying.
Multiply and divide,
right,
you're solid.
and have a good sense, and definitely we want to be able to communicate and listen and speak. So the big thing, and what Nick said is absolutely true, and it sounds very daunting, but here's the big thing, but do you love the business?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's stressful, it's hot, it's long hours, but you love it. Like, it is a very unusual industry to be in.
hospitality industry is definitely a passion.
Yeah.
A passion play. It's a passion workplace. You know,
Yeah.
working at GE or something, or even carpentry can definitely be a passion
Right,
thing.
exactly
You know?
what you love.
You're there because you love what you do.
Yeah.
For sure.
And the beauty of it is there's a lot of people that love what you do too.
Yeah, exactly. You're surrounded by like-minded people most of the time. So.
And how you love it.
Thanks for-
Somebody makes a nice meal for you and gives you your favorite dinner, you're like excited.
Yeah.
It's that same
Instant
feeling.
gratification
It really
industry.
is.
Yeah.
So this guy who I like, and he's out of Saratoga Springs, has a nice small restaurant, a lot of what you're gonna see in the communities these days. This is a very good review of what the restaurants look like.
Every day that I get to come in and open and work in my own restaurant, that's a lot of people's dreams, it's a lot of hard work, and so I never really take it for granted. Every day I try to come in and do one thing better, try to come in and do something that's going to make people happy or, you know, make people's day. I came to a point where I kind of had an idea for what I wanted to do. It was locally sourced, seasonally inspired comfort food, and to sort of do it in a bit more of an informal setting. I had no experience in management, restaurant ownership. My first job was dishwashing at a restaurant, and I think I was instantly taken by the energy and pace and attitude of the people who worked in the restaurant. At that point, I kind of knew exactly what I was wanting to get into, which eventually led me to wanting to own my own restaurant. When I come into the restaurant in the morning, it's just kind of get the day started, get some music going, brew some coffee for the crew, get some soups warmed up, take a look at our prep list. Working in a kitchen is not your typical work day. You're going to be cooking for 4 or 5 hours, and one person could show up or 1,000 could show up. And no matter what, you have to put out amazing food for every single one of those people, whether it's 10 or 1,000,000. We'll get to a point where we'll be a line out the door for 3 hours, and you just know there's no end in sight. But there is an end in sight, so you got to keep taking it one ticket at a time. You kind of just have to learn your lessons. You know, one of the things I tell my crew all the time is that it's important to make mistakes because that's how you learn. Some people learn from reading a recipe. Some people learn from watching me do it. Some people learn from doing it themselves and messing it up a couple times, and the next time they make it, it's probably even better. Cornstarch, Romano cheese, all that goes into here. Prep speed, we can definitely increase, but again, this is the first and second time you're making things, so. Kitchens are notorious for long hours, strenuous conditions, heat, knives. You're just working in an environment of controlled chaos and fire, and you really got to try to do your best to navigate through that. What I really enjoy about it is the camaraderie, you know, having a close relationship and being able to depend on and rely on the person you're cooking next to is really important because if you're having an off day, they can be there to pick up for you, and if they're having an off day, you can kind of be there to pick up for them. A restaurant's like a machine, and if not all the parts are working together, it doesn't work at all. And I think that's a really important thing, to work together, collaborate, have creative input, take pride in what they do, and really cook their ass off. Part of the community within Saratoga Springs. It's part of the community within agriculture, farming, locally sourced products around here. You know, people come in all the time and ask for tomatoes in January, and we let them know we don't have tomatoes in January because I prefer being able to support local farms, give back to the community in that respect, and just generally have guests that have been coming in for 5 years now to come in and know their name and know what they're going to order, or sometimes to surprise you and order something new and really enjoy it. Get and come out in a small restaurant and talk to everybody. food that reminds me of family, food that I ate growing up. You know, I often tell people, I'll ask them, what's your favorite comfort food? And if they can't answer that, like, what did your mom or your grandmother make you on your birthday? It's like that one dish that just makes you feel good. Take something that's really good, don't do too much to it, and let them enjoy the natural essence. You know, at the end of the night, we do a really nice job. We, wrap everything up, clean down, and kind of say a little goodbye and get ready to do it and grind it out tomorrow.
So this locally sourced movement and doing things like that is a lot of what Nick does with his butcher shop. Are you guys familiar at all? Have you seen at least his butcher shop? Do you know where that's located in Rutland? No. It's right, that's okay. It's in this, you probably know. It's right next to or across the street from the McDonald's on Route 7 across from the fairgrounds. It's in an old Texaco station. And so now you'll probably notice it says Vermont Butcher Shop. But a lot of what Nick does is just exactly this locally sourced, knowing where your product comes from.
It's probably 50% of my job.
Yeah.
It's working with farmers, finding new farmers.
And then finding folks like these restaurants and stuff that's what their passion is as well. So in Vermont right now, a lot of the industry is moving towards that type of a feel to it. In Rutland, we have, Roots would be a close example of doing that.
Yeah, probably the best example.
Yeah, of trying to keep locally sourced, and to the best of their ability. He doesn't have tomatoes in January because they're not growing, but he was cutting an avocado. But avocados aren't really growing in Vermont at all. So those we're used to getting from but tomatoes, by the time you're getting them further away, they don't taste like much in January. So he just chooses not
It's
to.
like apples. It's like apples in July.
Yeah,
That apple was grown last September.
right.
It's been held.
Yeah. Now's the time to eat them for sure. And the same things, stressful, hot, a lot of hours, being organized, the mise en place, but he looked like he loved just what he does, right? So it's a very funny industry. Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about like entry levels into food service. So this was a true or false. To work in food service requires a higher education. The answer's false. You can enter into food service as young as in high school. They do have programs like at the high school of Stafford. You don't have to go to Stafford to start washing dishes or bussing tables. Sugar and Spice is a perfect example of a gentleman that's hiring a lot of high school kids. He likes to give kids the opportunity to work in his restaurant. The higher education is nice. It brings you in at a different level when you enter that industry because you have a different skill set and background. So you spend a bit less time working your way up the ladder and you're exposed to far more than you might having to bounce around from restaurants in your community. But it's definitely an industry that you can get into without higher education, and there are apprenticeships. You do similar to apprenticeships, right? Or train.
We train all of our people. I mean,
Yeah.
Our industry, retail butchery, especially in Vermont, is kind of like a non-existent thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially whole animal butcher, we're essentially the only whole animal butcher in the state. So,
Can you explain what that means?
so whole animal butcher means we're getting in whole animals. Exactly what it means. So the animal from the farmer goes to a slaughter facility. The slaughterman and the meat cutters there, they process the animal. We then either pick up the animal ourselves, so the farmer will deliver it to us, depending on where it's coming from. We work with them and what they have at their disposal to be able to get it to us. So it comes to us in large parts, right? So pigs are essentially quartered. So what that means is the pigs are split down the middle, and then they are cut behind the fourth rib. So we get a shoulder, a butt, and then the rest of the animal is attached. So and then a cow comes in full quarters again. So big, front quarter, the hind quarter, the animal's split in half of each side, right? And then lambs are whole. I mean, the whole animal's whole, so we do that all of ourselves. We could bring them in larger if we had the room.
Right.
I mean, especially cows are big animals. So, and to hang them on a rack, you're talking about an 800, to 1,000 pound animal. You definitely have some support, and a lot of the buildings in Vermont don't support that.
The difference, Nick, between that and like people that get in just saying.
So like a lot of the butcheries and stuff, they're bringing in what we call in the industry boxed beef, right? There's nothing wrong with it. There's definitely nothing wrong with it. So what they're getting in, they're buying in cuts of meat, right? So we take our whole animals and we break those animals into cuts, whether it's a ribeye or a New York strip or a bavette or a London broil or whatever, right? They're buying in ribeye strips, London broils, bavettes. They're buying in these things in a box, 40 pounds of them at a time, right? So we're making them out of the whole animal and then offering them to us. So we're a little bit different than like what you might find in your grocery store or in some of these other butcher shops or meat counters or gourmet food stores with a meat counter, as we like to call them in the States. So where they're always most likely going to have ribeyes, they're always going to have strips, we're going to run out. There's only 2 strips on an animal. There's only 2 ribeyes on an animal. We're going to run out. Almost, it's guaranteed. We try to stock for the week, but you get that one guy that comes in and says, I want 8 strips. It's like, oh, well, I guess I'm out of strips today. So it's just one of those things. It's very much a first come, first serve, but we can't ask our farmers to bring more cows to process just so we can offer strips. We'll put that farmer out of business. We'll put ourselves out of business. So we focus on education and educating the people that we interact with on a daily basis about the other cuts on a cow. Like, it'd be great if a cow was made up of ribeye strips and fillets, and that's all it was, but it's not. I mean, there's a plethora of other cuts out there that are just as good, that are great, flavorful. Some of them are very seasonal based, and some of them, are good year round, and that's where our jobs come in to educate the people. They come in looking for a strip. We don't have any strips today, but I do have these Wagyu London broils, really greatly marbled. It is a London broil, but it's Wagyu, so it's actually much more tender, much more great, and it's a better price point than that New York strip you were going to buy anyways. So it's about education. Yeah, it's about education, because just the whole industry, meat industry as a whole, has moved away from that process.
Yeah. Wagyu is very good. You get the chance to have that. It's a whole thing. All right, so entry-level dishwasher,
That's where I started.
which is just right, about as exciting as it seems, but it's
In the
very
back of
complex.
restaurant kitchens across the country, dishwashers are keeping plates and glasses clean
I don't
and
know
pots
how to
and
do
pans
that.
in service. Dishwashers wash everything that gets dirty in the kitchen, operating automatic dishwashers and hand washing items that require it. As the most entry-level position in many restaurants, dishwashers may be responsible for all sorts of odd jobs necessary to keep the kitchen running. They take out the trash, sweep or scrub the floors, unload deliveries, stock supplies, set up the dining room, and maybe asked to prepare some food items. Small cuts or burns are very common in kitchens, and dishwashers typically wear gloves at work. Most dishwashers work part-time, and it's not uncommon for workers to stay in the job a short time. Dishwasher positions typically do not have specific education requirements. Many people find seasonal work as dishwashers or begin their careers in the restaurant industry by washing dishes.
That's where I started. It's
Part of what it
It's
is.
part of what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And
The good part is you don't spend forever doing it if you
Yeah.
have any
yeah, spent like a year washing dishes.
desire.
In
'Cause
high
you learn a
school.
lot. Yeah.
In high school, I was 13, 14.
Yeah. It's just what it is. I'm actually gonna skip past this food prep worker. The front of the house, the restaurant's broken into 2 areas. It's called the house. So the front of the house is the people that serve direct interaction. The bussers, the hosts, the waitstaff, the bartenders. They're all front of the house. The kitchen and restaurant is all considered the back of the house. But they're all still available in this industry. So this is a
Restaurant waitstaff and hosts and hostesses ensure dining customers have a satisfying experience. Waiters and waitresses, also called servers, take orders and serve food and beverages to customers in dining establishments. Restaurant hosts and hostesses greet customers and manage reservations and waiting lists. Servers may meet with supervisors to learn details about the menu and discuss food safety concerns. When serving alcohol, servers check customers' identification to verify their age. In casual dining restaurants, fast, efficient, courteous service is the priority, while in fine dining establishments, servers and host staff emphasize personal, attentive treatment at a more leisurely pace. Some servers work in places other than restaurants. They may deliver meals to hotel or hospital rooms, or even bring orders to customers in parked cars. Wait staff and hosts and hostesses are on their feet most of the time and may carry heavy trays and hot plates. Even during fast-paced times, they must ensure that customers receive prompt service. Part-time work is very common, often with morning or evening shifts, including weekends and holidays. Some establishments are only open seasonally. In some restaurants, host staff are required to wear formal attire and wait staff wear uniforms. Wait staff typically learn through on-the-job training with experienced servers, and in most cases there are no specific education or experience requirements. Some states require safety training for staff who handle food.
So you can see in the front of the house, it requires a lot of the same skill set, attention to detail, being able to multitask, good communication skills. It really translates back and forth. It's also very fast-paced, can be very stressful, because when you're out there, you're the one taking all those orders that you're about to bombard the kitchen with. So there's a lot of multitasking always. It's a definite, you gotta be able to do more than one thing at a time
Oh, yeah.
in this business, without a doubt.
Keep a lot of stuff in your head.
Yes.
In line. It's all about what they also call it mental mise en place, keeping everything in your head. Knowing your sequence of prep, what needs to be started first, what needs to go out last. When you're in front of the house, it's remembering that I have, table 24 needs a Diet Coke and a glass of red wine, and table 34 is now on their apps, I need to fire their entrees, and table 12 is this and that. So you're keeping all of that in your head while organizing from step to step.
And asking people how their day is and
Yes.
all of those things. So bussers are the entry level to a server, so those are your people that clear your tables and reset and do all of that kind of thing. The host, of course, is the person that seats you. Bar backs are in a busier bar atmosphere, but they're the ones that work with the bartenders to keep everything stocked, to keep loading the coolers, to replace kegs, to do whatever needs to be done. And then, of course, the next level to that is your servers and your bartenders. So there's lots of room for just advancement and growth. All right. So then we have the specialized field. So I chose butcher, short order cook, and baker. All of these things are available in this area. And you're probably already seeing the hospital workers, the cafeteria workers, the hotels, the food service industry, seasonal.
Go ahead.
We're in the middle of that here. Castleton has food service workers. It is absolutely everywhere, every part of the country, every part of the world. It is an in-demand profession. Okay, so the skills to be a good butcher are similar, right? To those of being a
the
good,
same thing,
yeah, being able to use your hands, I would think, is a big one, and lift heavier
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, any day I'm lifting 100+ pounds,
Right.
if not more. I mean, we had cows giving over 1,000 pounds, so that's a quarter, that's 250 plus that you're lifting.
You bend with your knees, right?
Oh, yeah. Bend and twist, right?
So this is shot in another country, but you can see this, I put in here to kind of show you that they're training, this is an apprenticeship for people all over the world. So if you're interested in traveling, these are definite good trades to have, and this is an actual butcher shop.
Hi, I'm Nick Bewis. I work at Peterton's Meats in Edgware, and I'm doing a retail meat apprenticeship. I tried different things like university, and I was also applied for the army. I originally started here as a wash boy, and through working here just in part-time and holidays, due to circumstances, I just ended up trying for this apprenticeship as it was the best thing for me, and it still is the best thing. It's just been magical. I'm doing retail butchery at level 4 standard, and I'll most likely be moving on to small goods as well in level 4 standard. I chose this course because I see a lot of potential for myself. I started here as a washboard just as a part-time trade. Then the guys obviously have started talking to me about what butchery is, where it can take me, and all the different applications. And I definitely mulled it over as well as a few different careers, and just ended up taking it on as I worked here for a wee while. Waking up in the morning at 5 AM, there's not too much to be excited about coming to work, but once you get here and you're here with the other lads and you're all just here to do the job and get down to it, it's absolutely a great work environment. You can't ask for a better one in any industry. I'm a very physical guy. I like physical labour, and so just the real hands-on of butchery is what really gets me. Competence has helped me discover all the range of possibility with butchery and aspects on a worldwide scale. I always knew that it could be single-based in the shop and retail and wholesale, but with all the different areas that I could go and challenges that I could seek, competence really opened my eyes. In one sentence, I could say it in 3 words, is just challenge, opportunity, and versatility in the meat industry. I'm very excited about my future. I've found a lot of opportunity not only here at Peter Tim's, with all the different ranges such as I'm in charge of marketing, in charge of a lot of the information systems. Yeah, so David Tim saw a lot in me and what I could be doing in the meat industry. Everything starts with a dream.
And you can see not only did he branch into it as a trade, but he's also working on the marketing and the different aspects of that field. So he'll be able to use those skills when he goes elsewhere.
And we have a guy on staff that, he's the manager of our Londonderry store, but he also has a background in marketing and other things, and he helps us out with social media and
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff, website, so,
Perfect.
yeah.
And just how you display your products and talk to people and sell things. So it's good skills to have and good skill sets that you can use for other things too. So you guys are the first one, so figuring out our timing on this is sometimes a little bit of a challenge. This clip is about like a grocery store type market, so that a little bit more the difference of what Nick was.
Here in a meat market, we cut, trade, wrap our own meat. We do everything in-house. My name is Jenny Reyes. I'm the secondary market manager for HEB Heights Market in Houston. This is where the magic happens. Follow me. So this is where we have our meal simple production. Everything is made in-house, so the freshness is always best. We also make our burgers in-house, our gourmet burgers. Making some right now as we speak. We also cut our steaks in-house as well, especially the ones in the service case. We cut with a knife. Basically, you're creating a masterpiece, just making sure our steaks look pretty, as you can see behind in the service case. They're just pretty. It's like magazine pretty. I mean, what makes us unique is the fact that we have a dry age service case, and we also have a dry aging case. So this is our dry age cooler. Looks ugly, but trust me, it's an experience. The longer it ages, the more robust the flavor is. When it's done aging, we go and we cut it to these pretty beauties right here. Flavor is already in the meat. I just keep it basic, and it's salt and pepper, freshly minced garlic, and I just let it ride. So a lot of folks have been asking, what is a tomahawk?
Tomahawk comes out of the whole bony ribeye, but instead of cutting that little small end right here, to keep it attached with the rib bone. So that's why you're gonna have the long extension of the rib of the bone. That's basically what a tomahawk is.
We get questions every day. That's why we're here to help. We'll try to get whatever cut you need if we carry it. If not, then let us know in advance and we'll make sure we have it for you. We have you covered if you're just an amateur griller or you run your own restaurant. Like, we're here to help you out.
And this place is in Texas, and they take their meat seriously in Texas. They're not messing around, those tomahawk things. I don't think I've ever even seen one done.
We do them. We
You
do
do
them
them?
from time to time. Yeah, it was more about like, are we feeling frisky? Let's make some tomahawks.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're sometimes a hard sell, so we don't do them too often.
No. That's when your dog loves, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When you have a leftover. Okay, bakers, also, grocery stores are kind of like, they're everywhere. First of all, we have several right here in Rutland, but they have all of these departments. They have the bakeries, They have where the food prep is, your delis, your meat cutting areas. There's right, it's an unusual spot to think about, but definitely, the grocery stores in the area.
The
have a lot
aroma of fresh
opportunity.
baked bread, cakes, and pastries is just one of the job benefits that bakers get to enjoy every day. From large-scale manufacturing bakeries to small retail shops, bakers work in environments that offer delicious scents. Bakers must become familiar with ingredients, measuring, weighing, and combining them, and checking their quality. They use time and speed controls for mixers, blending machines, steam kettles, and ovens. Bakers must follow instructions closely and stay on schedule to ensure products are
Very
properly baked and fresh
detail-oriented.
when served or packaged. Commercial bakers work in manufacturing facilities, large-scale commercial bakeries that produce breads and pastries often at high speeds. They use large automated machines such as commercial mixers, ovens, and conveyors. They must carefully follow instructions for production schedules and recipes. Retail bakers work primarily in grocery stores and specialty shops. They may take orders from customers, prepare goods to order, and produce a wide variety of flavors and sizes. Most retail bakers also clean their own work area and equipment and unload supplies. Long-term on-the-job training is the most common path to becoming a baker. Some bakers learn their trade through apprenticeships or by attending technical or culinary school for 1 to 2 years.
Baking is more science-oriented, having the proper ratios of everything as they combine so that you can have things to rise, and the temperature in Westminster Cracker checks the pH levels, and it's a definite more science to it. It's also a demanding industry, but it doesn't have the fast-paced feel of a kitchen. Right.
Sure.
But
Depends
you're-
on your, depends on
It depends on what you're
job.
doing, but bakers are, you're systematic, your things take time to prepare. So you're always moving, you're for sure moving, but there's not orders flying at you, generally speaking.
If you're a pastry chef
Right.
in the kitchen, it might
In the
be, but
kitchen,
yeah,
right,
if you're the morning
you're
baker,
serving meals,
yeah,
right.
it's a little bit
But
different.
if you're the bread baker or you're making the pastries, it's just kind of a different pace. And I think it's a little more zen, because you have more one-on-one time with your product. But they're just all different areas. So if you're not into the working over a stove, but you like the food service industry, you might want to try baking. And people love fresh baked goods, always a hit. You walk in with a cake, people are happy, or bread. Let's see, just gonna give you a quick idea of a short order cook, which is all of your fast food
In
places.
today's high-speed world, people often want things fast, including their meals. Short-order cooks specialize in preparing food very quickly. Also called grill or prep cooks, they usually work in diners and coffee shops. They're expected to know how to cook many different foods, often at the same time. When things get busy, the orders come in fast and furious. This job demands concentration and excellent memory and being able to work under pressure. A good sense of timing is essential. You need to know just when each item will be ready. Cooks are expected to keep their equipment and work areas clean. They make sure shelves are properly stocked with the necessary ingredients. Bending and lifting, working over a hot grill, using knives, and being on your feet for long periods are all part of a day's work. No formal education is required. Most cooks learn on the job. This could be a good job for those seeking supplemental income, flexible hours, or variable schedules. As long as Americans want to eat on the go, short-order cooks will be in the kitchen and in demand.
So it's fast-paced, it's one of my favorite areas because it is fast-paced, and the fair, I still do a stint at the fair every year just because I like the pace of short order and having stuff flying around. Denny's would be fast-paced, Five Guys would be, McDonald's and stuff is short order, but I don't think to
Yeah,
the same
that's
degree as these things. Five Guys would be fairly similar, and I believe Chipotle's, right, is coming in?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what their level of.
Diners and breakfast places are
Right.
definitely short order.
All
like,
your, right,
yeah.
Johnny Boys,
Yeah,
Sugar
those are
and
all
Spice.
short order, like,
Yeah,
essentially short order is exactly what it sounds like. If you can get it out in 3 to 4 minutes, you're a short order cook.
yeah. Okay. We're gonna have to skip this one unfortunately, because it's very good. So the next level advancement opportunities, I just had a couple here. One is kitchen manager. So that's when you move to the level of overseeing a kitchen that you're working in. Often in small ones, the kitchen manager is also the chef. you're kind of running the whole thing. But as you get bigger, you'll have somebody that oversees the chefs, and there's all kinds of levels of hierarchy of how that works. And then when you move on to the restaurant manager, it's the person that's taking care of both the back of the house and the front of the house, and they're supervising everything. So there'll be a kitchen manager and a dining room manager, and then a restaurant manager that's making sure everything's running correctly, and the food and the quality and the cleanliness and all of those things that are important. And I'll just move on to the restaurant manager
You
one.
got 30 seconds.
Okay, I got 30 seconds. Okay, so maybe I won't move on to the restaurant manager one. We'll just have to skip that. These are my list of must-see food movies. I don't know, you have to, but Ratatouille is excellent. You'll have this list in there. Everybody should watch Chef for fun. Burnt is also good. 100-Foot Journey, one of my favorites. And then Big Night. Have you seen these?
Big Night's my favorite.
Big
I've
Night's
seen Burn,
excellent.
Chef, right? I haven't seen 100%.
Yeah, you should watch 100-Foot Journey. But watch the movies, it's inspiring. Plenty of work in the hospitality field.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions? I know there wasn't a lot of time for it. No, okay.
Cool.
Thank you
Great.
both so much
Oh, you're
for all of
welcome.
this information. Can you guys give